This is it. The big one. The last Champions League group stage away days of this season. Can we do it? Come on. Let's go.
I get those goosebumps every time.
I just have to get the big fella off the bench.
Could this be their last chance now? In it comes, Monster to the front! He scored! Barry Monster scored!
I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too numb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need that hind to throw that to the side, I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side, I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713 through the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me outside? Slipping low-key and hiding. Smile rider. I get those goosebumps every time. You come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those times. I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hind.
Hello. Welcome back to the Loaded Bag NUFC Away Days Champions League edition, the last one of the group stages. Hopefully it's not the last one of the season. Hopefully not. But welcome everyone to the show. Great to have you with us. And of course, the main man, Mr. Chrissy H. Brandy and Blaze, although it's Water and Blaze at the moment.
Water and Blaze tonight.
But we're not quite the same. It doesn't have quite the same effect. But yeah, we're back in business. And look, let's forget Sunday. Let's forget Thursday. Let's focus on what's coming ahead. And massive game. AC Milan come to town, St James's Park. What are your thoughts? How you feeling, Chris? You know, what's your thoughts about this big game coming up very shortly?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to yourself and Vinny pre-show, you know, that I think there's a lot of, certainly outside of Newcastle and probably Milan, there's a lot of people saying, you know, well, PSG are going to beat Dortmund in Germany, and I'm not sure it's going to be that simple. Obviously, ourselves and Vinny and all of the other Newcastle and AC Milan fans will all have one eye on the other game. Obviously, PSG travelling up to Dortmund. So we're all going to be watching that. But equally, we've got to do our job as well, haven't we? At St James's Park, we've got to win. Vinny, I'm sure, will say that AC Milan have got to win. And so there's still a hope, isn't there, for, you know, ourselves, PSG and Milan to kind of fight it out for that last Champions League spot. And obviously the Europa League spot as well. But I'm trying to put the Premier League form out the window now, and just solely focus, you know, on Champions League. I think that's what we've got to do, because we can't look back on that Everton Tottenham game. We've got to just look forwards and think, right, let's try and make good. I suppose that's all we can do, Pete. That's all we can do.
No, you're absolutely right. We just got to look ahead. We can't dwell on everything going by. I've just said the same on the 12th man. Like, it's a bad week of football for Newcastle, but we've just got to look ahead. And we've got games, winnable games, that we can get points on the board, both in Europe and in the Premier League, and that has to be the sole focus. But look, no doubt we'll get into it with Vinny very, very shortly. But of course, housekeeping, as we always do. If you haven't clicked the like button, click the like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Come and join the Loaded family. And thank you for tuning in this evening. Thank you for putting your comments in the chat. So many already have. Get your questions in for Vinny about all things AC Milan, and any Newcastle questions, put them in, throw them our way too. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming and joining us. And look, it's about that time. Let's get the main man in from Milan Weekly Podcast. We've got Vinny T coming back to join us again. Welcome in, Vinny. How you doing?
Guys, worlds are colliding. Live streaming on the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. On this channel, I came, you know, I wanted to be neutral. I'm drinking a cup of tea. You know, you guys are English. I am drinking Newcastle Tears. Well, hopefully Newcastle Tears by this Wednesday. We got to start, guys. We've been too nice. Hi, how are you? Come on. No. This Wednesday, right? We'll only have ourselves to blame to being part the way we are right now, right? We got to look at another freaking result from PSG. But thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on. How you guys doing? We're doing good.
Pleasure. It looks like it's going to be no holds bar, Chris, tonight. I think we're going to get Vinny going all in, and I think we've got one or two already from the Milan side that have popped in.
They couldn't leave me all alone behind enemy lines. I gotta have my people. And it's guys, man. I know you guys have been doing very well. We haven't been doing very well. And I think you guys have a lot more to write home about of your performance in the Champions League compared to us, that we only have ourselves to blame. We go back to the first game. We should have won that game against you guys. Dortmund, we had our chances, and now we're in this position. And again, we're watching other teams, and I just hate the fact that it's down to this. Whether you guys have a fantastic game, we have a fantastic game, we got to look at what's happening on the other side. And yeah, I did want to touch base. We're saying, Dortmund and PSG. The people that say that, have they been watching Paris Saint-Germain lately? Because they're not the PSG of FIFA 20 and looking at, they didn't do well this weekend. You guys got screwed on that last Champions League game. Definitely screwed, because we couldn't believe, Newcastle up 1-0. And does Dortmund want to finish second? That's the way I look at it, right? So you're at home. That's my opinion.
Well, let's get it up, Vinny, because look, I know yourself and Chris will talk about it before we went live. So look at the league table from that perspective, and you can see the league there is that it's still all to play for. It's still all to play for. You got obviously Dortmund way ahead, like effectively they've already qualified. But you made a really good point, and Chris, look, I'll bring you in on this because you were saying something very similar as well. Is that are Dortmund really going to want to give up that top spot? Because effectively, what it means is that in the knockout phases, they'll get someone that finishes second in their group, whichever group that is.
Yeah,
and you're likely to get potentially a lesser team. So surely they're going to want to go in with a favourable draw.
Yeah, no, I agree, Pete. And as you say, me and Vinny were talking about it before the show, but not only will Dortmund want to obviously top the group, but I think they're also going to want to say to all the other rivals or all the other teams that they're going to be coming up against, we top that group, we boss that group. They'll want 13 points at the end of this group stage to basically say we're the main threat. Because I'll be honest, myself and maybe others as well, I thought Dortmund would finish bottom of this group. I thought it would be between ourselves, PSG, and AC Milan to fight it out for the top two places. I didn't really give Dortmund a hope, and Dortmund came out of nowhere, beat us home and away, and then did the job at Milan as well. So fair play to them, for getting up there. And I think Dortmund will want to go out with a bang. I think if they end up finishing second in this group for the position that they're in now, PSG would be very fortunate, and also I think they'd think, oh great, we've now got to play top of another group. So Dortmund, I think Vinny's right. Dortmund are gonna really want to go out with a bang, as I say, in this group F, the group of death, and say, yeah, we finished on 13 points. Do you know what I mean? And they're going to end up at least 5 points ahead of all the other teams if they go and beat PSG.
Yeah. Look, Yano just put a comment in the chat. Thanks, Yano. Hope you well, fella. What happens if PSG draw and we win both on 8 points? We go through on head to head because we've beat them. We beat PSG and they haven't beat us. So there's a lot potentially that goes in our favor. Yeah, there really is a lot for that. But Vinny, from your perspective, surely this is not where you expected to be from a Milan team. You've already said you only got yourselves to blame. What has gone wrong this season in your Champions League campaign to have you sitting at the bottom of the group with one game to go?
A lot of people say, yes, the injuries didn't help. I think we had like a total of 24 different stops since the beginning of the season. We're week 15 of players not being able to play. A brand new team, right? Now, is that on Pioli? Is that on the administration? the gelling of the team. For me, it's just that it just looked like in Champions League, just like last year, we were overperforming, and we've made it all the way to the semifinals. But again, if you look at the 2 games against Inter, the game against Newcastle, the game against Dortmund and PSG, that was 0 goals in 5 games, guys. So in the end, we can blame all we want, players this, players that. Oh, well, Giroud is old. Oh, but this guy here and this guy. I'm sure that if we, on a full squad, healthy squad, the Milan that played PSG is the Milan we should be able to see, week in, week out. Yes, you're going to have your dips, but I think it's mostly the fact that there were points lost by Milan. Definitely, if we're looking at the 2 first games, and now even against Dortmund, the last game against Dortmund, we just completely collapsed, and just what are we supposed to fight? We're supposed to fight up for Europa League. That's another discussion, gentlemen, because if we end up, winning or whatever, and PSG ends up winning, now who gets to go to Europa League? And Europa League, people can laugh all they want. In the end, it's not about winning that trophy. It's about making those extra dollars. So, what happens if we both tie? What happens from there? Anyways, there's so many different outcomes on this one. Man, it's just Vinny or Inter winning the league. Fuck Inter. Fucking pieces of shit. But we can swear on this podcast, can we? Yes, especially
Absolutely,
if it's
Absolutely.
against the Inter. But no, we have a plan. We have a plan because we only have one center back playing. So Pioli is going to be jotting down notes on pieces of paper. He took it from his friend Mourinho. I don't know if you guys saw that. Mourinho passing up little pieces of paper, passed it up to the ball boy. Ball boy went to the goalkeeper. This is our new strategy. We're gonna pass the information from the coach to the defense because Theo's probably gonna have to play center back. Kier, I don't think he's going to start. Leao seems to be starting, but if you guys did not see that, Mourinho passing notes, handwritten notes to the ball boy, to his goalkeeper this weekend, it was just fantastic. You gotta love Mourinho. But no, guys, I'm just stress is. It is what it is. It's just that both of us have everything to. We have to win, both of us. So. Anyways, we shall see. So I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting nervous. It's like 2 days from now. It's like, God damn it. Ah, man. Yeah. So how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel like from seeing, supposedly even Okafor might be able to start from the bench, Leao coming on? I liked how your skipper there, when they said, oh, Milan has a lot of injuries. We have even more injuries. So trying to put himself even lower than Milan. But do you guys, what's the majority of Newcastle fan base? We got this in the bag. Milan sucks, or are you like, sound-minded, going, this ain't gonna be an easy one, but being at home does have its advantages, does it not?
Go for it, Chris. Go on.
Do you know what? It's really interesting, Vinny, because I think if you'd have asked us a few weeks ago, I think we'd have gone, we fancied this game. With us being at home at St. James's Park, this season at home, we've been very strong. And obviously it's a massive game. We really, for us, and I suppose we're in a different position to you, Vinny, because for us, or certainly for me, like any kind of progression into European football is a big plus. Like even if it's to the Europa League, we're going to look and go, do you know what? We probably stand a better chance in the Europa League. Yes, we want to be in the Champions League, obviously, but the Europa League, it probably gives us more opportunity to really compete and really try and win the trophy. But we all want to be in the Champions League. And I suppose it kind of tells you where we want to be and where you are, because as Milan, huge club, you want Champions League, and you expect Champions League, especially being in the semi-finals last year. Whereas for ourselves, when you just come back into the Champions League, so we feel very fortunate to be part of the discussion, part of the party. So I mean, if worst case scenario in our heads, if we were to get a draw, Vinny, like we'd go, okay, Europa League football, here we go. Yes, we want the Champions League, but my only doubt at the moment, I suppose, is how poorly we've been playing recently. I'm hoping that we put the Premier League to one side. Yes, we're at home. We'd fancy ourselves against pretty much anyone at home at this moment, apart from the last week. That's the only element of doubt, because you mentioned him then, one of our outstanding performers this season, and since he's joined the club, Kevin Trippier, he's been all over the place. So it's hard to kind of look around, having so many injuries like you have. It's kind of nerve-wracking looking around, thinking, well, who's going to put in a display? Who's not shattered? Who's going to, really stand out and be counted for us. That's the only concern. But I still, of the two teams, I still feel confident that we can get a positive result in terms of worst case scenario, we draw. And like I say, we'd get Europa League football, which I know would be no good for yourselves. But for us going forward, we would still be reasonably happy with that, even though we want to win.
The difference is even with us is that, being owned by Redbird, being owned by, it's like a financial group. And a lot of people are saying that if we don't go through Champions League or don't get that extra money, somebody will be sacrificed, just the way Tonali was sacrificed. And for them, winning is important. I get it. But in the end, it's the almighty dollar. So people were saying, what if you get, you get out of Europa League, you get out of Champions League, you're not getting that extra money, who's going to get sacrificed? So that's why I think we have a bit more on the line than you guys on that point. So that's why you could just let us win. It's not that big of a deal,
You know what, Vinny? It's interesting you said that because Alessandro Schiavone, who's talked a lot about Newcastle all the way from when we were battling you guys for Sven Botman. He's reported a lot, and he said this after the Atlanta game for Magnan, Theo Hernandez, Bannister, Leao sake, they have to leave AC Milan, and he's talked about them coming to the Premier League and saying that they obviously they'll stagnate if they stay in Serie A. And he was quite strong in his opinions. He's normally very strong and supportive of all things Serie A. So this comes as a bit of a shock from this perspective. But do you genuinely think what you've just said is that potentially maybe one of those players could get sacrificed if you don't get Champions League football?
I don't agree with him that they have to bring it to the next level to go to Premier League. Why would they go to Premier League? Because that's where the money is. So Benacer just came out with an interview saying, why not Milan for life? Theo just resigned. Magnan wants to sign. Are they going to give him 8 million a year? You know what? Just give it to him. Let's not make the same mistake we did with Donnarumma. And Leao, guys, we just resigned Leao for 4.5 a year, 5? Yeah. Guys, that's a fucking joke. So people telling me that they need to go to a different level? No. Will they have to go to recuperate some of the money? Possibly. And that's where your administration comes in play and go, okay, who are we going to be? Which other gem can we go find to replace these kind of players? But then again, if you keep on changing players over and over again, Atalanta does that. They always seem to perform, but Atalanta ain't playing Champions League. They ain't playing Europa League. These teams that Udinese did it for so many years, But it's just for me, it's sad that we've come to this day and age in Serie A. It just seems that we've become like a feeder system, getting these players and just, and then again, we've had this conversation, guys. Who are we to say no to 80 million for Tonali? You couldn't say no to an offer like that, and you guys have the money. Is it the best league in the world? Guys, we could discuss this for hours. Is Serie A the best league in the world? We could discuss this for hours. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody likes their own different kind of stuff, right? Is the EPL more entertaining, better marketed? 100%. But when a player like Leao, like a player like Benny, like a player like Magnan, know that they can come to the EPL and make quadruple and 5 times the amount of salary, and they still want to sign, well, that shows something.
Vinny, can I just ask? Sorry, Pete. I just wanted to ask: do you think any of those players you mentioned who've got new contracts, and there may be others as well, do you think in many ways that could be AC Milan kind of protecting the asset in terms of, signing? Some of these players will be signed up because there's every intention of keeping them in Milan, keeping them happy. Do you think there's any players, not necessarily any of those ones, but any players in your mind where you think
150%
release clause?
Yeah, 150%, because the money that was lost with the likes of Kessie and Donnarumma, forget, guys, that Donnarumma has been playing like shit since he left Milan, right? But a guy like Kessie, how much money did you leave on the table with Kessie and Donnarumma? So that's at least possibly 100 million. So these are situations that cannot happen anymore. You cannot let these things happen. So yes, protect your assets. And it hurts to say, guys, football, soccer is a business nowadays. Stop thinking about the good old days of the 90s and the Maldinis and the Liverpool, Steven Gerrard and all these guys are going to, one team guys that thought it's over. This is a business. Let's get it through our heads. Yes, it's good to go with our hearts, but it's become a business. And players, right, that get sold, oh, he's a traitor, he's this. You think I would have like thrown dollars at Donnarumma last time they were here for PSG? Guys, seriously, it's been 3-4 years. Like, can you let it go? Like throwing him dollars. I don't know if you guys saw that in the PSG game. Yes, okay, it was for a good cause. It went to charity, but to still whistle him when he's playing the national team, guys, just let it go, man. Just let it go. It happened. It happened. It hurt, but it happened. That's my opinion.
I'm just going to rewind very, very slightly because what I'm going to say is that I think a lot of Newcastle fans are going to be more cautious with what they're expecting on Wednesday night. And the reason being is because I think we were quite, as a fan base, quite maybe a little bit overconfident that we were going to go and turn over Dortmund. And I think we got a bit of a shock there, a bit of a surprise in maybe our performance, but also how good Dortmund were. So I think there's going to be a little bit more reserved kind of responses with regards to that. However, what I do then expect on the back of that, which there wasn't at Dortmund openly from people that were there, is I think we're going to get a huge atmosphere, an intimidating atmosphere, an atmosphere very similar to PSG because we know what's riding on it. And I think, if anything, that will raise the Newcastle United performance, whoever's on the pitch, and we need it. We need that.
I think that maybe what you just said is 100%. I feel you, but that could play against you as well.
I was going to say, is that for us the pressure? Yeah,
and now you have guys on the pitch at Milan they're not the most experienced guys, right? But a guy like Giroud, he's there. He's got the experience. Theo's been there for a couple of years. You have a bit of those guys that may be able to keep it cool and calm and collected. But again, it could go both ways, right? I saw somebody say 60-40. I like those kind of odds, but like they say, the ball is round. You never know. I don't know what kind of football we're going to be pressing you, or you guys are going to be pressing us. Our defenses look very shaky. And again, one center back. So you guys are going to see if you're going to, obviously you're going to go after that. Somebody was talking about Calabria, maybe not one of the fastest guys out there, but when he comes on and he plays, man, he's on his game. So we shall see. I think we're the exact same way. We want to win, but we're not going in full speed ahead. Yeah, this is one in the bag. We're going to get this. We're both let's keep our feet on the ground, right? Let's go with our tactics and let's go try to beat Milan, or let's go to beat you.
Best way to be. You just talked about Calabria. Obviously, there was the incident at the weekend where he throws the armband to the floor, I believe, although I think you might have a different opinion on it, Vinny. A lot of AC Milan fans are not happy with his reaction to that. They see it as something more serious. There's some Milan fans that are saying they don't want him to play on Wednesday. They don't want him to play for the club with that sort of attitude. Do you hold that same mentality, or you got a different spin on it?
I think it was even Punch that's commenting. He's part of Milan Club Montreal. I said, why are people reading into this so much, right? Okay, you're supposed to give the armband in hand. He's frustrated. He's walking off. Is he throwing it to somebody on the bench? But you know what? You gotta get somebody to keyboard warriors and analyzing all of this stuff here. Does this mean he's not getting along with Pioli? Does this mean this? Does this mean that? It's like, guys, come on, man. He looked like he was throwing it to the bench. Exactly, Ponji. But is it something you want to be doing? No. And a footballer, a professional athlete knows the eyes of the world are on you. Everything's going to get misconstrued, or what did he mean by this? So, no, he shouldn't have done it. But I think people are reading into this way too much. Would it be a disaster if Milan lost? We can sell you Tonali. Yeah, we'll take him back for free. I said it at the beginning.
Well, this was the next question that I was going to come to. But look, everyone in the chat that's joined in the last 5 or 10 minutes, we've done the housekeeping already, but if you haven't already, make sure you click that like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, if you've come from the Milan Weekly Podcast, come and subscribe to Loaded Mag NUFC. Likewise, go and subscribe to Milan Weekly Podcast as well, and share the love. It is also streaming live now.
We're streaming live now. We're our show tonight at 9 p.m. Because my friend Stevie, he's gonna have a lot of things to say about Milan versus Atalanta, but we'll keep that for later on. Man.
We'll keep that talking. But the conversation, we have to talk about it. Obviously, Sandro Tonali did get his ban He's banned until late August 2024. The question that I've got for you, Vinny, and the question that most people have been asking with regards to the Sandro Tonali situation: did AC Milan know about the difficulties, the betting, all the rest of it before they sold Sandro Tonali? What are your thoughts on that?
The way things came out, there's no way in hell somebody at Milan knew. I think what's his name? Who came out, the first one that came out, and he just ratted everybody out. Not Gatti. Anyways,
Fagioli.
Fagioli,
Fagioli,
which means beans in Italian. But I think they did not know. I really, really doubt, but obviously to the conspiracy theorists, right? They gave him the chance. You did like Tonali, renew and got sold if you want to go. I know. That's why that's why we like to talk about Donnarumma and everything. But no, I don't think they knew. I think it's. I don't think. I had a big conversation about it on my podcast because nobody's ever going to say you're an ex-gambler. I was compulsively gambling for a lot of years in my life, and it is a disease. It's a disease, guys. So a lot of people do not understand, or but he's a millionaire, and it's a disease. So did he have this disease and managing it, under wraps? Was he smart about, when you look at Fagioli crying that he just missed something and he's 19 years old, he's down 2 million euros. That's a problem, And we talked about how, look at all the advertising in football now. Bet365 and this and that and betting. Whenever I watch a feed from the UK, what is it, William Hill? I see all these commercials about betting. So it's part of our lives, and it would suck if I was a Newcastle fan. You're investing this kind of money, but I think the response of Newcastle towards Tonali, like, we're just gonna, it's gonna keep on part of the team. We're gonna support him, but no. And even at that, I would love to talk to a lawyer that if it was proven in a court of law that Milan knew about this, what's the law on that, right? So that's what I'm trying to get. Like, what is the law? I think what shocked the most of us Milanistas were betting on Brescia and Milan games. So that was the okay. It's like a Pete Rose in baseball. I don't know if you guys know about Pete Rose in baseball. Always bet on himself to win. Still out of the Baseball Hall of Fame. But in soccer, football, am I going to get a yellow card? Bet on this, bet on that. You never know. But no, I don't think exclusive and hidden betting platform. Yeah, and that's what we're looking at. It's like, these people that when it first came out, guys, and it said we didn't know it was an illegal site. Come on, guys. Like, we don't know it was an illegal site. You got to put in your photo ID to these websites, your identity, all the stuff. I know even recently Florenzi had to go in front of court, and he admitted to just playing, blackjack, roulette, all this, the different, but never on, thanks, Levan, never this kind of gambling. But in the end, we need to support these kids and not laugh at them. It's if you haven't been through it, right, don't judge. Just the way somebody might, do some narcotics, might do this, might do that. If you haven't been through it, just don't judge. I've been through it. And it's not because somebody's a millionaire that it just means that, it doesn't have, we're all human, guys, and it could hit anybody. But how about you? Does he still show up to training? What does he do with Tonali there with you? Still at training? And
it was really interesting because Keith Downey, who reports for Sky Sports in the Northeast for Newcastle, he's been watching him training the last few weeks, and he actually came out and said last week, he actually looks like he's had the weight of the world off his shoulders since the ban's come in. And actually, he was saying that in training, he looks as sharp as he ever has done since he signed for the club. And he looks happy, he's smiling, he's integrating with the players. So there is a lot of positivity coming from Tonali. He's training every day with the boys. And Eddie Howe said last week, it's so frustrating that you can't pick him because he's training so well, and we need him right now because we've got so many injuries. So it's such a difficult situation. But look, we on our channel, when it all kind of broke out, myself, Chris, and Daz as well, we talked about it, and I think we're all convinced that he's going to come back fit and firing in August. And you know, we say it all the time and like tongue in cheek, but it will be like having a brand new signing coming in.
Oh
but
yeah, for sure.
signing of supreme
The only
quality.
thing I did not agree with, and let's take your Newcastle fandom out. Let's take my Milan fandom out. A player proven guilty and admitted to betting on his own team, 10 months, guys, is not enough. Because what kind of precedent are you setting to these kids that are playing soccer? You got a 10-month ban for betting on yourself. Now, I'm not saying about baseball lifetime ban, but I just felt 10 months was, I felt it was light. I thought it was going to be at least, I don't think it was going to be like a 2 years, but less than a whole season. Again, my personal opinion is just that it seems that we're trying to, I'm not saying make it acceptable, gambling make it acceptable, is the fact that, you know, Fagioli, he said never bet on, I think, who was it? The other guys never bet. It was really Tonali that really bet on himself. I think he's a good kid. I think he's got a head on his shoulders, but I just felt the punishment maybe did not warrant. I think the punishment was 10 months because he came out and just said everything that he needed to say. He didn't have to do more investigations. That's again my opinion, because when you hear sometimes these TikTok accounts, and some people share with me that parents are putting money into their children's iPhones to gamble. No, but have it under control. You know, they can't put money. Holy fuck. Don't get them started young, because it's a disease. It's a disease.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we all agree with that. And I think, you know, there's so many in the chat that are saying the same with regard to that situation. Look, we'll get into some Newcastle talk in just a second, and we'll start looking at the game. But the last thing I wanted to mention, just as a side conversation, is that Ibrahimovic is back. He is back. He's back at AC Milan as a part. Is he a consultant, or is he an advisory to the board, the Redbird Capital? Look, I'll let you kind of fill in the blanks, Vinny. But the news broke today that he's gone back to AC Milan. So just tell us a little bit more about that situation with Ibra. As long as he's not playing.
What do you mean he's not playing? You see, we're putting him on Wednesday. What are you talking about? Oh, he's not playing. I think Ibra was brought for. You got Uncle Jerry, Cardinale. He's up there, and he wants to know everything, and he's not there always on at his place. So he's going to be the liaison between Redbird and AC Milan. Do I see him on the training pitch? Do I see him doing? I don't think so. I think he'll be there for the big games, whatever, up in the stands. But I see him more as the liaison between Redbird. That's what they said, between Redbird and AC Milan. Will we need him to be on the pitch to slap a couple of these guys around? Sure. If he needs to come down, he'll come down. But I think it's just a solidifying, like, you know. We like to say Rob da Milan, Ed da Milan, meaning, like, you know, he's part of us and he loves Milan. I think this is a good thing, but I think people are reading into it way too much, that he's not going to be on the pitch, guys. He's not going to be at training. He's going to be there if we need it for moral support, but definitely the liaison between both of them. You know, Vince Mancini, he's one of our Patreon members too. You know, more a figurehead to try to drive more exposures to other markets. That's another one. That's another one that, you know, the face of Ibra, the name, the brand of Ibra, right? You want to bring Milan more worldwide, and they've done a very good job in the last couple of years. Ibra is a recognizable name, even more than Maldini, guys, because today's generation, right? Do they know who Paolo Maldini is? Like, you know, you're 25, 30 years old, they'll know who Ibra is, especially from how he's traveled the world. But Vince has been talking about that. It's like, you know, what is this going to do for the team itself? I don't think it's a direct impact on the team. It's just that, okay, Ibra's here, and please, Ibra, if you need to go down, slap a couple of them, slap Pioli out, slap the medical staff, do what you got to do. But I'm happy he's back. I hope he's not costing us too expensive.
He's definitely not. There's no doubt about it. But no, it obviously from a Milan point of view, it'd be great to have him back, and that influence, like you said, around the place will be really, really important. But look, I've got a question for you, Chris. But we'll get into the match now, and we'll start looking at the match in a little bit of detail. And of course, the only way we do that on this channel is we're starting with some stats.
Good evening, lads.
I like magic. Here appears Double O Stato. Keith Roll, how you doing, fella? On this Monday evening, and Champions League stats. What have you got for us?
Yeah, got a load of stats here. Lots of head-to-head stats here in terms of the history of Milan. Got a little bit about Newcastle's home record at St. James's Park in European games. Got a little bit of a record as well on a bit more Milan-focused players in terms of how Milan are doing this season, and also the goalkeeper of Milan as well to go into, and then some general stats to round off. So Milan's record in UEFA European competitions: played 425 games, won 213, drawn 107, and lost 105. The European list of honours here, we know, go all the way going up to 2007, 7 Champions Leagues, 2 UEFA Cup Winners' Cups, 5 UEFA Super Cups, 3 Intercontinental Cups, 1 FIFA Club World Cup. Milan are the third most successful team in European competition, behind only Real Madrid, Barcelona in terms of European honours won, and they've now played 48 seasons in European football in total. Surprisingly, though, Milan only have a win percentage of 27% against English teams in European competition. The record against European competition against English clubs: 48 games, 13 wins, 15 draws, and 20 defeats. Newcastle United now as well have played 18 seasons in European football. Take note, our friends on We Are Side. Their records in Europe, in European competition: played 138 games, won 75, drawn 31, and lost 33. Newcastle's record against Italian clubs in European competition, including Inter, Roma, Juventus, Palermo, and now AC Milan as well. Played 10 games, won 3, drawn 4, and lost 3. Newcastle's record at St. James's Park in European competition: they've won 40. They've played 48. They've won 48. Sorry. They've drawn 10 and they've lost 9 games. So quite a good home record there in Europe. Moving on to the managers, AC Milan manager Stefano Pioli. He's managed, now it's his 7th season in European competition. He's managed 4 in the Champions League. This will be his 5th. He's managed Bologna, Lazio, Inter Milan, and AC Milan in European competition. So quite a broad record there. And his record in European competitions: he's managed 51 games, won 19, drawn 17, and lost 15. And Eddie Howe, his record in European competition: he's managed 5, won 1, drawn 2, and lost 2 games. The goalkeeper is Magnan. Magnan, sorry for the French pronunciation there. He's managed 6 clean sheets in 17 games for AC Milan this season. Alexander Isak, he's Newcastle's top goal scorer this season, and he scored Newcastle's first away goal in the Champions League for over 20 years in the last game against PSG. And Olivier Giroud, He is AC Milan's top goal scorer this season with 9 goals in 17 games. He's also scored 40 goals in 88 European games. And last season, he was key to AC Milan's run to the semi-finals with 5 goals in 12 games in the Champions League. And he has a great record against Newcastle. He's scored 13 goals and he has 2 goal scoring assists in 15 games that he played against AC Milan, against Newcastle, primarily when he was with Arsenal. Rafael Leao, he's scored 16 goals in 48 games for AC Milan last season. And he has already got 4 goals in 16 games for Milan this year. And Christian Pulisic, remember him, for Chelsea? He's scored 5 goals in 18 games for AC Milan. So there's some players in form there for the Rossoneri. And some general stats to round off. Newcastle have now failed to win the last 3 games in the Champions League, which is the longest streak in the competition for 20 years. They also did that back in 2002-2003 season. In all competitions, Newcastle have only won 1 of 8 games away to the French side. So after that result against PSG, that was an interesting stat from the last game as well. And Kylian Mbappe's equaliser for Paris came with Paris's 30th shot in the game. And excluding extra time, that was PSG's latest goal on record. So that came in at 97 minutes and 18 seconds. So that was Paris's longest ever goal. And after yesterday's results, Newcastle have lost back-to-back in the Premier League by 3 or more goals for the first time since November 2017. And the final stat, AC Milan won 8 of their first 9 games of this season in Serie A. They lost only to Inter Milan.
You mean merda. Inter, you don't have to say that. Merda is fine. Everybody's going to understand. Inter for us, it's merda. It's okay. It's acceptable. Go ahead.
Nerazzurri?
Merda. Okay, Nerazzurri. It's okay. You get your stats guy. You got to go down the middle. It's fine. It's fine. Nerazzurri.
But so that was a great start for AC Milan, apart from that result. However, Milan have only won 2 of their last 7 Serie A games. And that's included losses to Juventus, Udinese, and Atalanta. Thank
you for the reminder. I really appreciate the reminder of all these losses.
They had a great start to the season, certainly at Serie A. Unfortunately, a bit like Spurs had a great start to the season and then had a dodgy little run and then picked it up again yesterday against Newcastle.
You're trying to buy yourself back there. It's fine. It's fine. I understand. You're the stats guy. Can't get mad. But anyways, we shall see. These are interesting statistics, gentlemen. And this is why maybe some of the people that like gambling will take these stats and then blame Keith for losing. See, it's a lose-lose situation for you. But thank you. That was,
can't win at all.
Can't, mate. Can't.
Great stats as always, Keith. Mate, well done. We've really enjoyed the Champions League stats this season so far. Hopefully, it's not the last time, but great to have you on as well. We'll get to the lineup in just a second, and I've got the tactics board ready. However, with that, there is a question that I want to ask, and in fact, hold on. Let me go to Vinny first, and then I'll ask Keith and Chris what their opinion is on what I'm about to ask. So, as you can see on the board, we've got the tactics board. Vinny, you've got a lot of injury problems. We've got a lot of injury problems. how do you see yourself setting up your team on Wednesday evening? Talk us through your lineup, mate.
Well, my iron goals. That's the one thing I'm sure about. I'm looking at all these players. I'm like, holy shit, nobody's playing. So you're gonna have Tomori and possibly Hernandez as center backs. I don't think Kier is gonna make it. And even at that, you can risk. You're gonna have. What are they gonna do, man? It's gonna have to put Calabria on the right. And wow, man, this it hurts just looking at it. Honestly, probably Florenzi on the left. It just doesn't make any sense.
He can play there.
Yeah, no, he could play anywhere. In the midfield, you're gonna have Reindeers. You're gonna have who's he gonna put? He's probably Loftus Cheeks for sure. And I'm gonna go with, I think the surprise tomorrow is gonna be Benessa. Benessa, I think that's gonna be our surprise for tomorrow. Yes, Krunic could always play center back. Thanks, Ponji. And you're gonna have Leao on the left, Captain America on the right, Pulisic, and Giroud up front.
So who did you say on the left?
On the left, Leao. On the right, Pulisic, and Giroud up front.
Okay. Pulisic on the right, and Giroud up top. Okay, that's your team set. Right. Getting to Newcastle United, I'll come to you, Chris, to begin with. But the question I've got is, who do we go with? Do we go with top? Do we go with Callum Wilson, who's now fit, got an assist in 10, 15 minutes on the pitch? Or are we going with Alexander Isak? He hasn't been great the last 2 games, but what are your thoughts with regards to that?
Yeah, do you know what, Pete? You've kind of talked me around on this, because my initial thought was get Callum Wilson in, and then maybe give Alexander Isak a rest and get him, fighting fit for Fulham. But I think it would be. I think you mentioned it, Pete, in the reaction show to the Tottenham game. I think it would be naive of Eddie to put Callum Wilson in from the start, because what we don't want is for Callum Wilson to suffer a setback. So I think he will go with Alexander Isak. Tell you what, we'll start from the top. I think he will go with Alexander Isak through the middle, but like you said in the reaction show, I think we'll probably see more of Callum Wilson. Whether that means that Eddie will sacrifice maybe Gordon or Miggy Almiron on the wing and then bring Wilson on as a 2-prong, it will probably depend how the game's going. Or it will be a straight swap and he'll bring Isak off for Wilson, and Wilson gets a good 25-30 minutes. Sorry, Ben, what are you going to say?
Thank you, Bobby. I completely forgot. It's true. Benessa is not on the list because we don't know when he was going to come back. You got to take him out. You got to take him out. And Bobby, thank you.
That's a big plus for us. I'm not going to lie, because he's a talented boy. So who's going to be playing? Pobega?
Probably. You know what? He's probably going to put Pobega. He's not. Is he put Adley? Krunic ain't going on. No. Okay, I'm gonna go with Pobega because that's the kind of guy I don't even know anymore. This is sad. I'm sorry to interrupting. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
No,
okay. Go.
Right.
Carry on. Yeah. Carry on.
No, don't
worry. So you go with Pobega, but we'll go back to Newcastle.
Yeah. Okay, Pete. So I think on the left will be Anthony Gordon.
Yeah. Let's go back to the top.
Although you did make me kind of question that for a second, because then I was thinking about Joe Linton, because again we were talking about that, weren't we? And he got his goal, didn't he? But no, I'll stick with Anthony Gordon for now, and I think I'll stick with Miggy Almiron on the right. Okay. We're a bit like you, Vinny. It's all kind of a bit of a shoe-in at the moment. There's not really that many options.
I love it that you're suffering like us. Love it.
Yeah. I'll go back to the front again, Pete. So I'll go with Martin Dubravka in goal.
Yeah.
I will go with Fabian Schär, left centre back. Jamal Lascelles, right centre back. And I think he'll stick with the same back four. I think it will be Kieran Trippier on the right. And I think it will be Tino Livramento on the left. Obviously, that will have to change against Fulham, but for now, I think maybe he will just stick with Trips, especially for that experience with coming up against someone like Rafael. But I'm not going to lie, the last 2 games, Vinny, Kieran Trippier has had absolute nightmares. So coming up against someone like Rafael is particularly worrying, given that he is a bit of a mercurial talent, isn't he? And he could potentially do bad things to Kieran Trippier, but hopefully he doesn't, from our point of view.
If he gets around him, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, and then all he's got to face then is Jamal Lascelles, so that's a slight concern. But in the centre of midfield, it's definitely going to be Bruno in the holding position. He'll be a big player for us on Wednesday night. And I think it's got to be Joe Linton on the left-hand side of the midfield. And on the right-hand side, it's whether we go with Lewis Miley or no. I am gonna go with Sean Longstaff. I think he will start Sean Longstaff again in a similar boat to he's in a very similar boat to Callum Wilson, but having him back, I think we need to start Sean Longstaff. Me personally, Louis Miley has been brilliant, but I think having someone like Sean Longstaff back could make a real difference, and it's going to be a huge game. So maybe Eddie Howe wants to give Louis Miley a bit of a rest for this one. But that's my thoughts anyway on the 11.
Yeah, Keith, Chris has put his 11 out. Anything to add? Any opinions on that? Obviously, we do have a couple of options now with the likes of Longstaff and Wilson, and maybe one other. We don't know whether Botman's going to be back. There was rumours about Harvey Barnes, but apparently that's not necessarily the case. He might be a little bit after that. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Isak will get the nod. I think we've learnt of bringing players back too early and starting players. I think we've just got to continue on that same path with Wilson, bring him on as a sub, sort of like last 25 minutes of the game, really. Maybe stick with Isak, really. And yeah, I think it was Supermark talking about younger players, and when they've had a run in the side, giving them a little bit of a rest. And I think that's what Howe might do with Miley. He might just bring him back out of the side for a little bit and bring back Longstaff in. So if anybody's going to start out the two, I would say Longstaff, the two returning Newcastle players.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, it doesn't make sense to start Wilson. We know his injury issues. To bring him on and throw him straight in for 60, 70 minutes, he's likely to break down again. We need to manage him very, very carefully because we can't afford for him to break down. And then we're going with Alexander Isak all over again and having to heavily rely on him. So it makes sense for Isak to start and Callum Wilson, hopefully, while still in the game, coming on and making a difference. And, who's to say we don't go Isak on the left, Wilson through the middle, and we have both players on. We're absolutely going for it at that point. Hopefully it doesn't need to be the case and that we're comfortable, but you just never know. Trippier was always going to play because he's suspended against Fulham, so he was always going to get his minutes that way. But Longstaff just has the experience for me. He's got the experience. He's played in big games. He did the stuff at home against PSG, so we know he can turn up in those moments. Will he have the legs to go the whole 90? Who knows? But to be fair, when Longstaff's up and running, he's one of the fittest on the pitch. He can keep running all game. So hopefully we get him for as long as possible. But look, they're competitive teams there. I'm looking at the AC Milan team. I'm looking, look, you've got players missing, but that is still a very competitive team, Vinny, and a team that will cause problems, no doubt.
We have one center back. What are you worried about? The only thing that we could agree on, the only thing for both of us, no injuries this game. No injuries. Yes. And the only thing, the only for me out of here, it's got to look at how Reindeer's going to be able to help the defense. And those 4 guys, Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, Giroud, and Leao. Those are the guys that could make or break this game here. But again, that defense. Theo's not going to stay back. You know he's going to want to go up front. Who's going to protect that position? So if you want to go, I'm going to go lower than you. That's it. This is the battle. We're trash talking each other to who's going to do worse than the other team. You see? I like that.
What's Teo Hernandez like as a centre back, Vinny? Or does he not normally play centre back? I know he's a left back, but
he's a left back. Like he played, it's 2 games now because we have no choice. The last time Cha got hurt, we put in Krunic as a centre back. And the worst part is that we've loaned out centre backs at the beginning of the season. So again, would I take Hernandez over a Primavera player or Krunic? Or yes, I'll put Hernandez on there. But again, you can't. The guy's he's a train. Right, so if he wants to go, he's gonna go. And again, who's gonna back that up? Right, Florenzi can cover. I'm not sure. Why don't we put Florenzi is able to play on the wing? So why don't we put him in center? Anyways, it's a mess, guys. It's a mess.
Well, it's still got quality players in there, players that can win the game. That's for sure. I think he's trying to do us over. Really, playing innocent, playing the vulnerable, and
me,
I can see it from a mile away. Mate. However, I do think we've got areas that we can hurt. There is no doubt about it. We're at home. The emphasis will be for us to push forward. I think Joe Linton will be crucial. I don't know if Joe Linton played in the San Siro. I can't remember if Joe Linton played. I don't think he did.
I'll check that.
And I think him being big and physical in that midfield, I think will be important, particularly against Loftus-Cheek, because if we remember, Tonali and Loftus-Cheek had a real battle in the San Siro. They proper went at it, and they both ended up hobbling off, bruised and battered. I think at about the 80-minute mark or 75-minute mark. Joe Linton will be up for that battle. There's no doubt about it. And I think he'll be important. Livramento up against Pulisic, a very interesting battle. Both ex-Chelsea, probably know each other. That'll be an interesting battle for sure. But I'm looking at Calabria and Gordon. We need Gordon to perform and give us a big game in the Champions League. We need him on fire all the way through.
Pete, just to let you know, Joe Linton didn't play.
He was injured because it was Tonali.
Yeah, it was Tonali.
Tonali played. It was Longstaff, Bruno, and Tonali. So I think his physicality will be important. But you know what? More than anything, we need a Miggy Almiron performance.
Yeah, Miggy didn't play first leg either, Pete. Miggy didn't play.
Miggy came off the bench, I believe. He came off the bench late on.
He did, yeah.
We need a Miggy Almiron performance. This guy, who had a fantastic season last season, for me, I think he's too comfortable right now. I think with Murphy injured, I think he knows he's going to start every week. We need him putting performances in, because you know what? If he doesn't stop putting performances in and putting the ball in the net, I think we go out and get a right winger in January to really start to push him. We need a big performance from him. Trippier, the less said, the better. He knows he wasn't good enough last week. He's going to want to put it right, particularly because he's not available for Fulham. So I'm expecting a big performance from Trippier anyway. The only question mark I've got is Lascelles was clearly injured against Tottenham. And it's whether he's going to be fit enough to play. I'm not going to lie. I'm here for a Botman start. I'm here for it. I'm here for a Sven Botman masterclass. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping Eddie Howe's hoodwinking us all, and he's not mentioned him, and he comes in the starting lineup. I don't look.
Not a Paul Dummett, Pete. No.
Emil Kraft.
If Paul Dummett was going to play, he'd have played in the last 2 games. I think, as I said to you on the review, it says everything. The fact that Eddie Howe's not playing these guys in these type of games. But I'm here. All I'm going to say is I'm here for a Sven Botman start. That's all I'm going to say. But we'll wait and see. Look, you've made it absolutely clear, Vinny. You've said the 4 players: Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, Giroud, Leao. They're the guys that are going to win you the game. I've given my opinion on where I think we're not winners our game. Sorry, Vinny, we're going to say.
No, and you know what? I forgot the most important. Magic Mike there in the back.
Yes.
If it wasn't for this guy, man, holy shit. But But that's what I believe in those guys there. And it's like you see, even the comments, my followers are like, they're in a crisis, but we're in a worse crisis. See, we just gotta, So if we win, right? We go, how did you make us win this game? We're full of shit. And if we lose, I told you so. We got this all planned out.
The only question I've got, and I think Chris and Keith will be asking the same question, is how much from Magic Mike? How much would you?
How much for Magic Mike? You'd give me 80 for Tonali. Ooh, for Magic Mike, if we sign him at 8 million a year, start taking out some cash, at least 140, 150. You want pay? That's all. What did you say? Secure assets? Yeah, no, 100 million. I think 100 million would do it for Magic Mike.
Well, Dad Ashworth is watching the show tonight. So, Dan, you know what to do. Make sure that contract does not get signed, and make sure that bid comes in January the 1st. That's what I'll say. But wow, 100 million. But he is a fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, anything to add, Keith, before we move on?
I think we've touched on it all, really. I think some really good points made there about the AC Milan front three as well, really, and the keeper for sure. That's a strong lineup.
One player for you, Keith, from Newcastle that you're looking for to really have a performance?
I think midfield could be crucial, really. I think you've mentioned about Trippier. Really, I think there's some lads who are there who are running on empty, really. This is one of them nights for the likes of a Bruno, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Bruno to step up. Chris, one player for you, you're keeping an eye on to have a performance for Newcastle?
It's hard to disagree with you or Keith when you mention Bruno or Almiron, but to give a different name, I think because of that Everton performance, I'm going to say Anthony Gordon. I think we need him to step up, and particularly against Calabria, as you've already mentioned, Pete. Who isn't the quickest. I'm not saying he's slow, but he isn't the quickest. And Anthony Gordon is lightning quick, and I think he owes us one. And if he can try and distract Tomori a little bit, it might give Alexander Isak a little bit of joy, particularly against him and Teo Hernandez, who hopefully, Vinny, will be up the other end of the pitch. So,
and for you guys, hopefully, very slow as molasses Calabria doesn't come out the Calabria against PSG, that those youngsters and Mbappe weren't doing shit that game. So the position of a Calabria, you want to take it there, we're going to take it there. Yes, he's an old man. Yes, he's slow as molasses, but hey, it's okay. He's playing with you guys. He's going to go up there. He's going to be jogging, trotting. All of a sudden, this Gordon's guy going to come out. We're going to clip him right over there. Oh, sorry, yellow card. Don't worry about it. I got everything figured out. You think it's going to be a physical game?
Italian dark arts, just like the Euros final.
That's it. Did you see Lukaku yesterday with the jumping kick onto the? You guys should go take a look at that. But you guys think it's going to be a physical game?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Minimum 5 cards. Not for the betting people, but there's going to be at least 5 to 6 cards, yellow cards. That's for sure. I feel it.
Yeah.
Interesting one, actually, because you've talked about Calabria, doing a number on Gordon and maybe picking up a yellow card early doors. Equally, Gordon likes to win a lot of free kicks. He is good at playing the dark arts himself. So you saying that about Calabria, that for me, that makes
so he would be tackling down a guy that is too slow for him. How did you figure this one out? Then he's going to be called for diving. How do you get a foul from a guy that's slow like molasses? You guys, I don't know what kind of dream world you live in. That this guy,
Hey, we've got our own dark arts. Joe Linton, Bruno.
You're better off Gordon running into Loftus Cheeks. That you have a bit more of a chance to get that free kick,
Yeah.
But Calabria, no, don't worry about Calabria.
Calabria
just gives up penalties. That's the only thing he does, Calabria.
The battle, because we didn't see it in the first leg, as Pete highlighted before, the battle between Loftus-Cheek, who was very physical with Tonali, Loftus-Cheek and Joe Linton, that'll go off. Definitely.
Both 6'3", both big physical players, like cover ground, like a tackle. It'll be a battle. I'm gonna put out on the limb. I'm gonna say there's gonna be at least one moment in the game. In fact, at least 2 moments in the game where Gordon just gives Calabria just a chance to think he's going to win the ball, and he's going to knock it by him, and you'll see him get taken down and win a free kick at some point. I think you're going to see that twice in a game. That's my prediction on that.
And then when Calabria si gira la testa, as we say in Italian, he takes him out with a little yellow card, studs to the leg, not red, and then he's gonna make him understand these things you don't do with him.
down the calf is what you're saying, is that right? Just down the calf, maybe.
Shame on you, fuck up to us, shame on me. You know what I mean? He could try. It's all good. It's all good. Then you go up to Tomori. Even Tomori, if I'm going down the dark alley, and Tomori's on the other side, he's a big boy. He's a little scary, so you got to take a look at it.
Bobby makes a good point. We're not really talked about it. Isaac's another player. He needs a goal. He needs a big performance. Was poor Thursday and Sunday. So again, but look, we could talk about that all day. But again, we've had a lot of conversations. Guests, people in the chat, make sure you keep an eye on the game Wednesday to see how this unfolds. And are we right? Is Vinny going to be right in his predictions of his team? Are we going to be right in our predictions of Newcastle United? Let's wait and see. But look, there's over 100 in the chat, and we haven't got 100 likes. If you haven't already, just click the like button. Click the like button, helps the algorithms with the channel and moving things forward. Thank you for watching the show so far. We've got a few questions before we get to those all-important predictions. That's for sure. This is your opportunity, people in the chat, to throw a few questions you're at the way of Vinny, at the way of us as Newcastle fans. Throw your questions in there and we'll get to them. But I think there's a few already, Chris. Is that right?
There is. This one, I've been trying to work out how I'm going to say this to Vinny because I don't want to offend Vinny, so I want to make sure I say it correctly. So Vinny, tell me if I'm wrong here. Right. Where is it? Where's it? Where's it gone? Okay.
If you offend me, I'm going to go cancel you all over the internet. Don't worry about it.
Here we go, Vinny. Right, you ready? So Mike Gent asks, Vinny, are Merda going to win the league?
No. You know what? I think I said at the beginning of the season, no, everybody laughed at me. And I said, they're playing once a week. Beware of Juventus. That's the only thing I said. Inter are known to have their dip in the middle of January, February. Now, the way they've been playing, do I see them dipping? The only team that didn't dip for me in the last 10 years I can recall is Napoli last year, right? And look at their Scudetto defense right now. Last year, the year before last, they only spoke about Milan's worst title defense in forever, but nobody's talking about Napoli this year. But I don't want them to get the fucking second star. Second star will be 20 Scudettos, right? We have 19, they have 19. So no, I don't want to. Now it's my heart talking. No, I seriously have this weird feeling Juventus is going to pull something off. Anyways, that's just me. Merda, fuck them. Those snakes.
Juventus is apparently in for Calvin Phillips as well.
Yes, I read that.
Yeah, they're in talks with apparently with Man City to take him on a loan with an option to buy. So he's been heavily linked with us too. So if he does go to Juve, we'll definitely be looking in a different option.
Yeah, definitely. Tom Dixon asked you, Vinny, what's it like? I mean, we've got our own derby, which we haven't had for what is it, 2017? We haven't had
2016.
2016 since our last derby, Vinny, and we've got Sunderland in the Carabao Cup. The FA Cup. So tell us, what is the Milan derby like?
Guys, I had the opportunity to see my first ever derby 2 Septembers ago. The last derby that we won 3-2. I never saw Milan live, even though they had come here. No, my first experience has to be at the San Siro. It's indescribable. It's people like to talk about every fan base is special, but the Curva Sud, the way. Before the game, there's a little bit of banter between Inter and Milan. At the end of the game, Interistas, Milanistas sitting down together, eating. I like that. That no more violence, no more. But the Curva Sud and the Curva Nord, singing even after they lost, and then you have these tifos, guys. Look at the one they did for Dortmund, that they had. For PSG, right? That they had Jean-Paul Belmondo, PSG fan with the gun shooting, and what do we come up with? with Neo stopping the bullets with La Curva Sud. Did you guys see that with the tifo, the choreography that we did before the PSG game? You guys didn't see that? Do yourself a favor. PSG at home had Jean-Paul Belmondo, French actor, right? One of his characters, and he's got a gun pointing at La Curva Sud, and the Curva Sud they had a devil there. What we did, right, is that you have in La Curva Sud, it's Neo from the Matrix with his hand up, stopping all the bullets. Guys, I can't believe you haven't. This is like,
Very
yeah. Curva, take it up, but the derby for me was, I don't think I could have asked for something better. Even our friend Vinny Mancini, he just went to the last one, and yes, they lost, but he goes, it's just the atmosphere that he felt, like, it's indescribable. It really, it's Curva Sud as well, like the bunch of the way they carry the fandom and the way they do the choreography is just for me. It was I shed tears, man, as soon as I walked in there, and I'm just walking around at the San Siro, and I'm just, when we scored, because that game they went up 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 Milan, 3-1 Milan, 3-2 Inter, and there's still half an hour to be played. I'm like, I couldn't have asked for a better game from there. So honestly, to each fan base, I know they all have their experiences. I know Dortmund is always highly spoken of about their fans or anything. But if you guys, please, anybody in the chat did not see it, go take a look at El Tifo, the choreography, PSG Milan at this live from the San Siro.
No, well, I'll go and have a look at that afterwards, Vinny. It sounds very, very good. It's an interesting one. I can ask all of you this. So, question for Vinny and Keith and Pete. Which player from the opposing team would you pick to start on Wednesday? So I think what Mike's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what Mike's saying is, looking at your Milan team now, Vinny, and thinking, I can have one Newcastle player. Now, you can take any player from the pitch who we had on before. What player would you take from the Newcastle team to have in your starting 11 on Wednesday? And Pete and Keith, I'll ask you about Milan.
I'm really horrible with names, but that your striker there, because we need a striker. The one he's been in poor form, but he scores. He scores. What's his name? Isaac. Thank you very much. Sorry, can't blame the alcohol. I've been having English tea, but no, because we have no strikers. We have Giroud, obviously, but I would take him because at least it will give us a much better option than just having Giroud as an option.
Pete, who would you be picking for Milan?
Right now, we need a goalkeeper. So I'd be. It's hard. There's three for me, but there's three obvious ones. But I'd probably take Magic Mike.
Keith?
Pete stole me thunder. We need a goalkeeper. Magic Mike. Obviously, Giroud has a great record against Newcastle in particular, and has a great record, but we need a goalkeeper. So that's got to be Magic Mike from me as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you, boys. It would be nice to have Magic Mike in goal. Not setting any premonitions here, Vinny, but we would take Magic Mike if we could. I like this one from Foxy. Vinny, about the promising youth players you have, like Kamada, Chaka Traore, expecting them to have good careers with Milan?
I can't go with our track record, but seeing Kamada actually having a chance to start, he had a couple of appearances so far. Chaka Traore, yes, but then he put up a comment like versus Pioli on Instagram. These kids with their Instagram machines, but I think these are players that the way football is going, are these going to be the kind of players that you're just going to sell at one point, or the players that come from a Primavera? I think they need to be more, because we don't see a lot of Italian players, especially even in Serie A, the way it used to be like 25 years ago. But I would love for them to have a long career, but I think at one point they're 25, 26, they want to have a new adventure, and I think it's going to become more of a natural kind of feeling to, we're not going to lose our minds when these players get sold or leave for greener pastures.
Mike Gent also asks you, Vinny, and this is an interesting one, this. If, say, Eddie Howe rang you tomorrow, Vinny, and he said, listen, Vinny, we don't want anyone from Milan, but you're using your knowledge of Serie A, which player would you recommend to Newcastle, or who Newcastle should go for either in January or the summer, that would improve our team? And, you know, if you were the Newcastle manager, you would try and sign them from Serie A outside of Milan.
You guys said you need a goalkeeper. You know what? Because Merda's there to make money, right? You go in for the no. I gotta get you something. I can't. Hold on. You need a goalie. If I give you, well, if you had to splash the cash, yeah. So it was Bremer's name. He's got like first ever like 10 clean sheets. I know the defense has a lot to do with that, but you know, Inter would be very, very capable of, like, you know, even Provadelli, yes, Spongy, I like that one. But as a goalkeeper, Inter Merda's goalkeeper, guys, I'm fucking horrible with names. Is it Bremer? It is Bremer. Ponji, tell me, it is Bremer. It is. See, Ponji knows all these players, but see, Inter will be capable of. You see how they got Onana for free, sold him for 50-60 million, right? They bought Sommer. Thank you very much. Not Bremer. Bremer is the Juventus defenseman. Sommer that came from Bayern Munich, and you know, he had one bad outing, I think, during preseason. Everybody was laughing, and look at him now. So you guys, you know, splash the cash. Inter will sell. They gotta make money. They got a loan coming up in March. They gotta go pay, you know, and then they fix themselves with their freaking problems. So that's what I would tell you.
Sommer, very nice, very nice.
Can I just ask? Can I just ask Vinny? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Kvaratskhelia this season for Napoli?
Flash in the pan.
Ooh. He's not had a great season, has he?
No, he's not. I remember when we had Suso, and Suso, at one point we called him one trick pony. At one point, somebody's going to figure you out the way you always step over left foot. Guys, remember Arjen Robben? Yeah. Yes, he was on a different level. No, he had the skills to get you past, but these are kind of guys. Kram is a fantastic player for what they paid him, you know, 15 million. But then you have people that, oh my God, imagine we had him except for Leao. I'm like, Leao, he does the exact same thing over and over again. How many times does he get, you know, he's that fast, he's that good. But Kava, like, what did he miss on the weekend? I think that's the kind of player, right, that had a fantastic season at Napoli. What did he do in the Champions League against Milan? That they were already in the finals, Napoli, guys. You didn't know that before they played us, they were already in the finals. We manhandled him, and he couldn't do anything. So I'm not taking anything. I don't think we're taking anything from his quality. But again, if you have that type of quality, you don't go dipping for 6 to 8 months. That's my personal opinion.
How much do you think he costs now, Vinny? Because last season everyone was talking, weren't they, Pete, about 150 million?
Please, I would say, depending. Yeah, I would say probably Napoli. I think all depending of his contract. Right now, the way he's been playing, 60, 70. Yeah. Thanks, Fabio. Fabio, one of our part of the channel as well. Yeah, 67 still, but you know, from going from 150, overhyping players. And again, he had a fantastic season. He was a big part of Napoli's title reign. But you know, when Osimhen is not there, where were these guys? Who picked up the slack? You know, they fire a coach Napoli and Walter Mazzarri, which I don't even understand where they come up with that one. But he's got as many losses in 2 games as Rudi Garcia had in the first 13. So if you're changing $1 for 4 quarters, like we always like to talk about Pioli out, it's the same thing, man. Osimhen is the $100 million man. Yeah, that's right. Definitely. Osimhen at Napoli.
One final. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, can you see Osimhen leaving? Because something doesn't seem right there.
Osimhen's leaving 100%. Yeah. During the summer, there was a TikTok page that they made fun of him, the official Napoli one. Now they're saying that they're negotiating. I think they're negotiating for the contract, just the way you're saying, you know, your assets. You're going to sign, we're going to give you this. And 100, he's going to get 100 for sure. The thing is with De Laurentiis is they're going to take that 100 and he's going to put it in his pockets because he does not spend. He'll spend, but not to that amount. That's why people were like, "Oh, we're going to get Antonio Conte." You ain't going to get fucking Antonio Conte. Nobody's going to know. DDL ain't going to pay 10 to 12 million euros a season for Antonio Conte. So no, definitely. But that's your $100 million guy.
Conte needs money.
Yeah,
If he's going to manage a team and a project, he needs money to spend. That was the issue with Tottenham.
and he needs. Yeah, but Conte did the same thing everywhere. How long does he stay at teams? Right? He doesn't get his way and he leaves. He doesn't get his way and he leaves. Right? What did he say at Juve? You guys make me go eat at a restaurant, $100 a table, and you go and make me go in with $10. He in Italian we say malo di pancia. He gets this little stomach ache and he leaves. He goes to another team and he leaves. And he's good at what he does, guys. Yeah. He's good at what he does, right? He fooled us all Italians during that Euro Cup run, right? He fooled us all saying there was no more problems in Italy. Look at the teams he took, right, and still managed to bring out the best of that team there. But again, the only reason I wanted Antonio Conte is because to me, if you have to replace somebody, replace with somebody better. If I'm going to replace Pioli, don't give me a Abate from La Primavera. He's not a project guy. He's not a guy that's going to stay with you 3-4 years. But it would have been a solution to bring out the best of your team. Yeah. Again, my opinion.
Fair play.
I've got one more question for you, Vinny. And I know you touched on this very briefly earlier, but it would just be interesting to hear your thoughts on it. What did you think of the penalty decision against us in the PSG game?
It's disgusting. It's you know, me, Stevie P and I'm like, can you give us a rule book? What makes it going up to VAR, not to VAR? Who makes the decision? And guys, these kind of games, any games for that matter, but these kind of games cannot be fucking decided the way this one was decided. And I'm looking and I'm like, I'm like, good for you, Newcastle, right? And look at the different conversations would have been having right now. We've had calls go against us. We've had calls go for us. And we'll call a spade a spade. Sometimes like, okay, yeah, that was 50. It's coming. But against you guys, that was a shame. And didn't he get suspended? He's not even playing. He's not even refereeing Champions League. That specific referee.
Yeah, he got taken off.
It got taken off, right? So it's just, you know. And again, what the history books are gonna say 1-1, right? But to be like that, man, in the fucking, what was it, 95th, 96th minute?
96.
That's got to be for you guys like, holy shit, we're beating Paris Saint-Germain at home, and then this has to happen, right?
In more ways than one, in different styles of play, in both of the matches, we gave PSG problems. We've had the morale victory,
That's
whatever
true.
happens to our Champions League season.
And then you wonder when people talk about, you know, the game is fixed, right? I know we don't like to go there, but sometimes it's like, but why? Tell me it was a 50-50 thing, and it's just like, anyways. But yeah, no, kudos to you guys, because both games, PSG had no answer for you guys. Both games. So chapeau, as we would say in French here.
Yeah.
But if ever you guys have the rule book about VAR, whatever, you know, guys, remember, the first league, the most controversial league for refereeing decisions, Serie A. First league to introduce VAR, Serie A. Which league has still most controversial calls? Serie A, even with video assistant referee. It makes, like, what makes you go there? Who makes the call? Just give us a guideline. That's all we need, all football fans. We just need, give us, like, you know, here's what the rules say about VAR. Here's where we're gonna go to it. Here's where we're not gonna go to it, and how this play here is gonna get stopped because there was a foul about 4 minutes ago on the other. Like, just give us a fucking guideline. That's all.
Do you know what? That was the frustrating thing for me, Vinny, because when I saw it live, I didn't think it was a penalty. And then when I watched the replay, which took ages to come up on the screen, by the way, I didn't think it was a penalty. And then I was convinced it wasn't because I saw it. And then I thought, the referee's watching what I'm watching. So even though they called him over to the screen, I still had that element of doubt, even though they always say when they go to the screen, they reverse the decision. And even when he went over to the screen, I thought, he's not going to give that. No way is he going to give that. And then when he gave it, it was just unbelievable.
At those moments, you start laughing, guys. There's no other things to do than to laugh, because it's just, I guess this just wasn't meant to be. But we shall see what is meant to be to Wednesday, gentlemen. We shall see.
We will.
Right, let's get down to it, guys. Let's not beat around the bush. Predictions. Predictions for Wednesday evening. I'm going to go a Newcastle United win. I'm going to stick with my 2-1 prediction. I think Newcastle will win 2-1. I think it'll be a close game. There'll be chances, there'll be goals, but I think we will nick it. Chris, what are you going for, fella?
I've got to stay positive. I'm sorry, Vinny. I've got to stay positive, and
Of
I've got to
course.
say, I think it's going to be 2-0 Newcastle.
Okay.
No.
Guys,
Vinny,
hope
it's
is
on
all
you.
we have, right?
Hope is all we
This is
have.
the way it's
Right.
gonna go, guys. It's gonna be 1-0 for Milan, like 10 minutes in, right? You guys are going to attack and attack. You're gonna have 37 shots on target, crossbars all over the place, and then in the 88th minute, an own goal just to put the stake into your heart, and it's gonna be 2-0 for Milan. Like you know, when you bring up that hope for you guys, oh my god, we're gonna score soon, we're gonna score, we're gonna tie it up, we're gonna tie it up, we're gonna tie it up, and then some sort of you know what, Krunic is gonna come on, and Krunic is gonna deflect it off 2 players. No, I feel that you guys will dominate this game, and I feel we will. I think we're gonna be up. We're gonna be our backs against the wall all game. I think we're gonna go up. I think we're gonna go up soon in the game, and I'm gonna go 2-0 for Milan.
Very, very, very specific there in your analysis.
What are you talking about? I said 2-0. I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll keep that in mind. But last but not least, Double O Stato. What you got?
Well, we've had the optimists, and there's the realist as well, and me as well with this one. And just going back to the first game in the San Siro, Newcastle rode the luck and got a fantastic result. You know, could have even won it with a Longstaff chance later on. But I remember in that game, one of the key difference makers in that game was Nick Pope. And I think that's going to be telling on the night, really. With Dubravka, we're going to see the difference between the two. And I think there will be an early goal from Milan, and that's why I'm going for this score as well. Sadly, I think Newcastle, unfortunately, it's been a great ride in the Champions League. Realistically, it's probably better we're out given the injuries we've had. And I think Milan will shade this one. But it's been a great experience, a great journey.
Maybe he's playing the reverse on me now.
Not even Europa League, man.
Guys, in the end, let's not forget 2-0, 7-0, 0-0. We got to watch PSG. And again, we got to go. We have to. Our futures depend, right, on somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, we need to win, both of us, but you can win all you want. Depends. We're going to talk about Europa League, but nobody, let's go for that Champions League. We need more money than you. So, go easy on us.
Vulnerable Vinny worries me. He worries me because I think we're gonna be switching over to Milan Weekly Podcast, and there's gonna be confidence in the camp. I've just got a feeling.
My pre-game, you know what? Where are you watching the game on Wednesday?
We're doing a watch-along.
Okay, you're doing a watch along. I'm gonna go on our Patreon. We're doing a group therapy. That's what we do every before the game starts. 90 minutes before game time. I'm inviting you guys to join us. Right? It's group. I'm the therapist. I'm group therapy. We sit down. We talk about our feelings. We talk about who's gonna win. So I'm gonna send you guys the invite. Right? You'll be in hostile territory. 90 minutes before game time. We go on for maybe 25 minutes, half an hour. So. Please come on. Then you'll have Fabio from Long Island. He brings the fire. He just screams all the time, but he's a lovable teddy bear. So yeah, if you guys want to come on, the invitation will be sent.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm up for that.
All right, and then you come across our lines. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's do
Send
that.
us the deets, and we'll sort it out. The deets.
Worlds are colliding.
Yeah.
Like it.
They really are. But look, Vinny's mentioned it. The watch along, the final destination on Wednesday. We will know exactly where we stand by the end of this game. Come and watch it on Loaded Mag NUFC along with us. I will be taking you through every kick of the ball. Looking forward to that one as well. And obviously, we'll send you the details and put it on socials of what we've got planned with Vinny before the game on Wednesday. So yeah, stay tuned. But look, Vinny, absolute pleasure to have you on as always. Brilliant
Awesome.
guest.
Thank you.
You know, joining us for before both fixtures has been brilliant. Obviously, we had you on with the Tonali news as well. So it's been a pleasure to have you on this season. I hope we can get you back at some point. Maybe to get your opinion on the £60 million bid accepted for Magic Mike in January.
How much?
Coming to Newcastle United. Maybe we can get your thoughts on that.
We'll talk soon. Don't worry about it. Then you know what? On Wednesday pre-game therapy, the gloves will be off. Now we're gonna trash talk, but we have to do it. We're not laughing, guys. We have to be serious. We need those clicks. You know, you gotta subscribe. Look at these Newcastle Milanistas, and we'll do like gosh darn it and all this these swearing at each other. So and the Keith, thank you for being on our side. 2-0 Milan. I appreciate it. He's seen the light at the
secretly my brother-in-law's Italian. Secretly.
It's all coming out.
He knows what's good for him. He knows what's good for him. So no, thanks a lot for having me on, guys. Even your people watching always been respectful and enjoy their comments. And we'll see whoever wants to. We'll multi stream on Wednesday. We'll figure out from there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do that.
All right.
Why not? But Keith, pleasure as always. Great stats as always. Some people will say not great predictions. We'll hope that you're wrong again on that. But look, it's always a pleasure.
I spend particularly at the minute. I'm spending me life wishing I was wrong at the minute on a Saturdays and on Sundays.
Look, keep rocking with us. We'll be back again on Thursday for the Fulham a preview as we look to get 3 points in the Premier League. So look, hopefully there's more positivity there. And obviously, Mr. Chris H, Mr. Chris All, pleasure as always.
Yeah,
great stuff, great questions. You know the score. And thank you to everyone in the chat. We've only got, I think, 55 likes. Come on, people. We've had over 120 plus in the chat tonight. Come and hit the like on the way out, guys. Come and show support for the channel. Obviously, as well as Milan Weekly Podcast too. But come and show your support. Subscribe to us if you're new to the channel. Subscribe to us on the way out, so you can see all Loaded Mag content. But that's it, guys. That's the preview done for the group stages. Now it's all down to the players, and look, we back the boys to get the job done at St James's Park. And all I'll say to everyone that's going on Wednesday: light it up. Create that massive atmosphere and roar the boys onto 3 points. But until then, guys, we do love playing away. Take that, Chris.
Guys.
Vinny, how'd you like that?
Fantastic.
How you like?